Hey everybody, welcome back. We're the Roadramblers podcast. We've been out of commission for a little while, but now we're back in business for the summer. Excellent. I'm Jet,
I'm Jack.
and we are, again, the Roadramblers, in case you didn't hear us the first time.
And it's been a while. I think our last one was quite a bit ago.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a very long time ago, before we started doing all these cool, new, interesting things, like applying for jobs.
We're doing jobs.
Yeah, man. You work at Walmart, right?
Yeah, I actually work at the neighborhood Walmart that's just down the road from me.
That's right.
But it's pretty interesting. I like it. I work customer service. But who knew customer service had so many different jobs around it? So sometimes I hop on a cashier position, so I check people out. Or if they need me to stand at self-checkout, I watch people struggle to try to scan the products, and then I have to go help them, and they act like it's my fault, even though, technology. Sometimes I do and go do carts, which is fun when it's not super hot out. When it's nice and cool out, like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night here in Texas, I'm happy to do carts, It's a nice, you get a cool breeze, it's pretty nice, but when it's like super, super hot out, you'll touch the carts and it'll burn your hand and you'll be like, but it's not too bad. I like the job. The coworkers are a lot of fun. Customers are nice. I've gotten to the point where I have regulars who say, "Hey, Jack, what's up?" And, and they're going to ask me to do something for them, and I'm happy to do it. But
Cool.
You have a job interview coming up, don't you?
That's right, where I get to work in the heart of campus, in the campus bookstore. I'm going to interview very soon, and I'm sure it'll go well. It's a group interview, which I've never even been to a regular interview, so this will be a completely new experience for me.
Yeah. Actually, I did a group interview when I worked at my first job last summer, which was SeaWorld, which I've told you a couple times. But for you who don't know, I worked at SeaWorld with the Shamu, or they want to call them just the orcas now because Shamu is just a show name. But we actually did a group interview style like you're going to do. And what it mainly, I think, is going to happen is you'll probably have maybe 2 or 3 actual employees or the people who hire sit down, and then they'll have a group review, and they'll just ask you all different questions. You might do some team breaking ideas or icebreakers, things like that. It was actually really fun, and you feel a lot more comfortable because there's more people around you. You're still a little nervous, but you have other people around you, so it's not just like one-on-one. They're not going to be grilling you, or they're not going to just be asking you questions. They're going to ask how you work with other people and with other people around you in the room. So you'll like it. It'll be a good interview, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been hearing all about questions like that from people and from the internet, but I mean, I think it'll be great,
Yeah, I'm excited for you. You'll definitely have to let us know if you get the job.
Oh, yeah.
If not, you got to give me some discounts. I'm going to be like, "Hey, yo, Jet."
I'll do my best, man, but these, you know how they jack up these bookstore prices.
Oh, for sure. I had to buy envelopes when I was in ROTC for money for a project, and my flight was like, "Go buy some envelopes," and I was like, "Okay." So I went, and the envelopes, we sell them at Walmart, and they're like 89 cents for maybe a 10-pack. They're pretty cheap. But when I went to the bookstore, I was like, what in the world is like $3 or something?
Ooh.
That's crazy. I mean, given it's a college campus and you're on their campus, so they can say, hey, you need the things now. We're going to sell them to you, but there's a price. But still, you're right. The prices are pretty, I guess on all college campuses are like that, they want to get your money some way.
I'm sure that they'll offer some kind of discount to the employees, I hope. It's not a work-study job. It's an actual job where you get paid in money, not so much tuition reductions. Yeah. But I mean...
Hey, that's still good. And do you know how many hours you might get to work? Did they have any idea about...
Not sure yet.
Not yet?
I'll have to talk to them very soon, and we'll figure it all out.
Yeah. Yeah, hours, I mean, you'll probably get a couple hours, or probably 8, 9, 10 hours a week. I mean, if you're sharing with other people who are doing work-study... But they might say, hey, Jack, can you come in for this time to this time? Are you thinking about doing it on days when you're off, or days when you have class and you're not in class? Or
probably when I'm not in class. I don't really have any days off except for the weekend.
The weekend? Okay.
But I mean, I may not have a choice. I might have to go in anyway.
Yeah, they might choose your dates. No, that's exciting, though.
It is. It'll be a completely new and different kind of experience for me. I mean, I've heard all about it from friends who have worked. I mean, I've heard, because most people I know have had a job at least once. I've never really had a job before.
Oh, so this is your first job?
My very first job ever. Ooh, potentially.
Wow.
It's just, you could say it's one of the many things that a lot of people have done
that you haven't had yet.
I haven't done. You know what I mean? Do you ever get that feeling where...
Yeah, there's a lot of things I've done, or I haven't done rather, that a lot of people will be like, you haven't done that yet? I did that a while ago. I did that like in middle school. And I'll be like, well, I haven't done it. So yeah, I think that's a great way to segue into our little I wouldn't say game, but how we're going to choose our topics today is Jet has a little app, and it's a spin wheel, and we put different topics, and we're going to spin it, and when it pops up, we're going to go ahead and talk about that.
Right. So our topic was some of the things that we have yet to do in life that we feel like a lot of other people have.
Do you remember the other topics? Or
I don't remember the other topics, but they obviously weren't important enough because because we're not talking about those today, are we? So
yeah.
Anyway, so I guess we can start with that. I mean, I'm kind of late to the whole job game. I mean, my parents did not want me to work in high school at all. I mean, I wanted to work, but they were serious about me just trying to get good grades and stuff because they felt like I wasn't really trying in school. So they're like, you need to try in school. You need to. I mean, we don't need you to work, so you're good. You just do what you're supposed to do in school, and you can work later. That's what they always told me.
Yeah, I would say my parents were like that. They were like, they'd say, don't worry about working, because I would have friends who were working. I was saying, should I get a job? Is it normal? And they were like, no, your job is just to go to school, get good grades.
Right.
Stay dedicated to essentially what's the last couple years of your life in school until you decide to go to college or wherever you decide to go. So it's always just, you can get a job after. So that's what they did. Between my summer to freshman year of college, that's where I worked at SeaWorld, and that was my first job. But yeah, it's understandable. Don't worry about it.
And then whenever I wanted to buy something, they would say, use your own money.
Right? But then it's like, but I don't have any of my own money.
Yeah, and my dad used to be like, you don't get a vote. You don't pay for anything around here.
I think that's one thing that parents always bring up is like when you argue with them or you're in a predicament with your parents, they always want to bring up the fact that you don't pay the bills around here, which is true. But I mean, there's a lot of things that we do around the house.
But they aren't exactly offering you chances to contribute. You might want to, but
they might be like, yeah, no.
But anyway, this isn't about how much we miss high school.
No. We don't want to make it sound like we miss high school.
Yeah, it's not like people actually miss high school, right? It's not like people actually have a good time in high school. You're supposed to be miserable all the way through, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, isn't that how it works?
Isn't that just how we're taught? Is just to hate it until you get out, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there's something pretty popular, according to a lot of people anyway, that I haven't really done. And I feel like I'm in the pretty big minority when it comes to this. But I mean, pretty much everybody talks about how great these Disney movies are, especially just because of the new Lion King coming out. And I've never seen the original Lion King.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen the Lion King. I've never seen Aladdin. I haven't seen like a lot of the popular Disney movies that everybody says are classics and things that you must watch. I mean, it's just, I never watched Disney Channel. Like, I've never given a shit about a lot of Disney, really. I watched Toy Story just because it was Toy Story, obviously, because I was a kid. But I mean, everything else Disney was like just something I just did not give a shit about in the slightest,
No, I mean, that's all right. I watched Disney because I had a little sister, so I was always watching like Disney princess movies with her. And they're actually pretty good, but I feel where you're coming from because I didn't really watch Cartoon Network, more or less. I did watch Nickelodeon, like iCarly and all that stuff. But Cartoon Network, like you're saying, was one thing I didn't really find an interest in it, even though they had pretty cool cartoons. Now that I look back and everything, but I mean, Cartoon Network's not making all these live reactions or whatever. Yeah. Whereas Disney is rebooting everything. I think Mulan just got. I don't know if they dropped the trailer or whatnot, but I know Mulan's having a live action.
Never seen that.
Yeah, I'm sure. What's it called? Pocahontas will probably get a live action.
Oh yeah.
Aladdin just had its live action. Ariel's getting its live action. Disney's. I think one thing I would say about the movie market is I feel like a lot of the movies are being remade because there's no one with the real ideas, other than maybe true. Some Netflix standalones like Stranger Things and all that. I mean, the big movie producers are really, I think, stale right now on what they want to produce and what people want to see. I mean, superhero movies were big last year rather, I think, because of the saga that we had with Avengers.
But they're still big, man. They're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, they'll be here, but I mean, for right now, Marvel's on phase 4, which means they have to reintroduce or rather introduce newer characters, since the older characters have already had, their big show was Endgame. So now they're going to start introducing or reintroducing smaller characters, I would say. Like Black Widow's getting her own movie, Vision and Wanda.
I won't.
Doctor Strange too.
I won't watch most. I will not watch most of those just because I won't.
I'm not paying for Disney's
Yeah, no, I'm not going to pay for that.
service. Yeah, I think, and that's another thing. I think another thing that's really ruining, not ruining, but making it harder to watch shows you like, is the fact that everyone wants a streaming service now. I think everyone got a taste of it when Netflix came out, and their prices were like insane. It was like $8 to have, one device where you could watch all these shows. And now Disney was like, we can get on that action. CW, DC has its own streaming service now for superhero stuff,
which is terrible, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. But then again, I mean, they're companies. They want money. At the end of the day, they want to get money out of your pocketbook. So it's understandable, but it is, as the consumer, I think we lose because we have to go to all these different platforms now. Whereas we could have watched Disney movies on Netflix. Once Disney Plus is all ready, they're going to pull all Disney from Netflix, and we're going to have to go. And if you want to watch like Disney shows or movies or whatnot, you can either obviously get them from your library, what is a library in 2019,
right?
Or go pay your subscription to Disney Plus.
And like I said, I mean, the DC streaming service thing that they have, I don't know anybody who really watches that. They have all these shows, right? And these shows were supposed to be good, but it was just so funny because when they released the trailers for these shows, they got such negative reactions, and they can't even put their new movies on there because I don't even know why. They just can't do it. I just kind of heard that they couldn't do it because I actually had a free trial for that when it first came out. I did the 1 week free trial. And after I was done with that, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not using this again. This thing is trash. These shows are trash. All these things that they have are just things that I just don't care about,
Yeah, no, I agree. Same with all the big networks. Like CBS has their own streaming networks. I mean, given you don't have to pay for it, but still, it takes away from, I would say, the powerhouse, which was Netflix and Hulu. It takes away from what they can give to their audiences. And so Netflix right now is just trying to, I think, develop really good shows that they can produce. Like, obviously, Stranger Things. They have some other good ones. I know Lucifer got transferred to Netflix, and it's really popular on Netflix. And fun fact, if any there's Lucifer fans out there, because I am, the last season rather, season 5 that Netflix will be producing is actually going to be 16 episodes instead of 10. So that was some great news to hear because everyone was so happy it got a new home on Netflix, but then they're like, okay, we'll give you season 4, 10 episodes, we'll leave you on a cliffhanger, and okay, you only get one more season.
Wow.
So, but yeah, they bumped it up to 16 episodes for a 5th season rather. So that's exciting.
Interesting, man. I've never seen that show, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. I mean, there are a lot of popular movies out there that I just haven't seen. A lot of them are the cartoon or whatever Disney movies. I watched a lot of the Pixar. Obviously, everybody watches Pixar, but I mean, I'm just trying to think because I mean, there are so many popular movies and shows out there that I just haven't seen. I've never seen The Office, and people go on and on about that show all the time. I've never seen
Friends. I've never
watched
watched
Friends. Hell no, I've never seen Friends. And it just seems like there's no reason to go back and watch it just because it's such an old show at this point. I mean, it came out in the 90s, I think.
Yeah, and there's a buttload of seasons.
Right, but it's just something for me. I just see it there, and I'm like, I don't really see any reason for me to watch this show. It just seems like it's going to be dated for one thing, and two, it's just like, I don't know. It just doesn't sound that interesting to me.
Yeah, and we grew up in a time where comedy is different than comedy was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's just...
Our comedy funny. Is pictures with subtext or bottom text or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Or videos with captions, aka memes. Whereas my parents still laugh at SNL jokes. And this SNL's good.
I've never seen SNL.
Well. I think SNL ages well. It's definitely funny when my parents watched it. It's funny when I watch it sometimes. Because it's just pure raw drama. Or humor, rather. Whereas, online, humor that our parents would have found funny back in the day about political jokes maybe or this or that, we really don't care about. We laugh more at old Vines or new TikToks that are cringy, So I think as generations change and the platform of which comedy can come on or media in general, it always changes with the preference of the people of that generation.
Right. I mean, that's just humor for you. And I've never seen Friends, so I can't really attest to the humor, but I mean, I've heard from people I talk to, some of them really like it and some of them hate it, you know?
Yeah.
So I really just don't see a reason to check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of shows like that, I just know I'm not going to watch, so I don't really worry about it.
Here's one that we've been around for that came out when we were our generation, and that would probably be Game of Thrones. And I haven't seen a single episode.
Me neither.
I mean, it looks cool. The dragon scenes and stuff that I've seen on YouTube look pretty cool, but I haven't. If I'm being honest, I have no interest. It looks a lot like, I wouldn't say Lord of the Rings, but it looks more, that time set area where I just really don't find interest in. I'd rather maybe watch something that's futuristic or something that's modern day. But for me, that just looks like Skyrim on TV, so I'm not really into it,
Well, from what I heard, you aren't really missing much. I'm not sure if this is true or not, because I can't really say it. I can't really say for sure because I've never been a fan of the show. I've never been one, but I heard that the writing in the last few seasons, especially the last one, got really bad.
Yeah. I saw these complaints about the people saying we spent all of our time investing in your show. Go rewrite another season or a better season ending, And I was like, whoa. I mean, for something that's gone so long and gotten so big, to end that bad, where some of your, I would say, fans are getting upset about it, really would make me rethink, okay, maybe I need to do something different.
It honestly reminds me a little bit of The Walking Dead, because I used to be a huge Walking Dead fan. I even read the comics that went with it, and I mean, that was all a few years ago when it was super popular, because at one point in time, The Walking Dead was the most watched show on TV at one time. It was so huge. I remember everybody watched it, and I'm not sure what happened, but it just started to get bad from what I heard. And I think people lost a lot of interest because they started killing off a lot of the main characters that people liked, because those guys have been there since the beginning. Mm-hmm. So once you kill them, people kind of get upset. And so, I mean, they were following the comic that it was based on, but I mean, still, it's just something that I'm sure pissed a lot of people off. So from what I've heard, I can't really say for sure because I haven't seen any of the new material. I've just heard that it got really, really bad.
I think one thing that really draws people away from a TV show, for me at least, would probably be, like you said, the characters that people really liked were starting to disappear. Either they got killed off or something happened outside of the show where the character, or the actor rather, couldn't continue with the show, so they kill him off in some fashion. I would say a big thing about TV that's different than movies is in TV, characters I think have more stake in the making of it.
Yeah,
you grow to like the characters, not as opposed to the story, because the story in a movie like Avengers or whatnot, the story is the big thing.
Yeah,
what's going on here that's going to affect later in the timeline. Whereas I think TV shows are going more like episode based because they want you to enjoy the episode and then maybe have a little bit to do with the rest of the season. Unlike movies where it's all, it's leading up to a conclusion.
Right.
I think TV shows want to have a beginning, an ending, and a conclusion all in one episode. But that also wants you to come back and watch the show, which means the characters need to be relatable, or you need to go back because you want to see the actor, or you want to see how things happen. As opposed where I would say Stranger Things was a lot more like a movie.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And get this, only 8 episodes this season. So season 1 and 2, I think, were all 10 episodes.
No, they had 8 episodes. I looked on Netflix. They did.
No, they didn't.
I thought they did.
No, they didn't. I swear.
I'm looking at Netflix right now.
Let's look it up. 1 and 2, I'm 100% sure were 10 episodes. And then they only made 8 for season 3, which is 2 less. But, I mean, given the last episode was pretty long, like an hour or something. But, yeah.
They get longer.
Yeah, and the way the Duffer Brothers do their cinematic work, it looks a lot more, I would say, cinematic. Every episode's leading into a conclusion, as opposed to where Lucifer in season 3, you can tell. We were right, they are. What was season 2? Was season 2 too?
Season 2 was... 9. Oh, it was 9 episodes.
Okay, so
they mix it up. They mix it up.
I guess, yeah.
But they've never had 10 episodes a season.
I feel like 10 would have been good for this one, but they did do a good job in the 8 they had. We'll just cut out the part where I said 10. Or yeah, we can do it because
we can leave it because we want everyone to know that you did in fact make a mistake and that you were wrong.
Jet proves me wrong.
Yep.
No, okay. So there was 9.
What do we think about Stranger Things anyway? Since that's one of the few shows that we actually have watched.
I liked it. I think season 3 was okay. I rewatched it with my dad after I had already binged it, of course. But I really liked it. I think the character development was a little, I would say, less than they had, because they had 2 full seasons to introduce the main characters before this. And then they did a really good job, I think, in season 2 of introducing Max and Billy to, I guess, the ensemble of characters. But I feel like it was a little rushed having Erica. I know she was in the other seasons, but having Erica become this big role, I think they did a good job with what they had for 8 episodes.
She was annoying. Yeah,
but I think she was a little bit too aggressive. I mean, she was always like super snarky to her brother or to Steve Harrington and everyone else. But they did a good job. I think the fans obviously liked it. The ending of season 3 is definitely one of the bigger parts, I guess you'd say, over the summer that you would think about, because having Avengers end the way it did, and then having the Duffer Brothers, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, kill off Hopper, one of the main, I would say, characters. But one thing I want to commend the Duffer Brothers and their storytelling on is how well they were able to get us to feel bad for Billy. A guy who was a bully all season 2. Everyone hated him.
Billy tried to kill kids.
Yes, Billy was... I don't know how they did it, but somehow they had Eleven look into his memories and everything and made us feel bad when he got killed by
whatever that thing was.
I can't remember. It was a shadow monster. I don't know what they called it.
I was honestly half asleep when I watched it because of the fact that I'd been getting up early for school and stuff, and I couldn't even remember. I took a nap through like 2 of the episodes. So.
Well, yeah, you can miss a couple in this season and still know what you're doing. That's the good thing about, I would say, Netflix shows, is they have a bigger goal where they want to have a conclusion, as opposed, like I said earlier, where TV shows that are on the network TV, they want to have a thing for you every episode. But yeah, I think Stranger Things did well. I'm looking forward to watching The Boys on Amazon Prime.
That's right. And this is not a sponsored ad. We just happen to talk this way for some reason.
Yes, we really do enjoy the shows that are coming out. And I think The Boys has a really cool premise to it. It's a lot different than what all the superhero movies are doing. I mean, even The Tick that's on Amazon, it's kind of cool, like, to think about it. You know, it's a superhero, and it's not a superhero power you think of normally. But I think with The Boys, it actually takes a different turn, almost like I would say, what's her names? The people with the smiley face, Watchmen feel to it.
Watchmen,
and
that's
Watchmen
right.
is coming out with a new TV show series about it, which is pretty cool.
You know, it's really weird that we know about Watchmen so well, but we've never seen movies that literally everyone else has seen.
Right?
It's just funny.
I think it all comes down to preference. And
it
for
is.
us,
it is.
Jet and I both really like the superhero aspect as well as the storytelling aspect, because, I mean, Watchmen, the movie, I don't think really got reviewed well when it came out. But I think I watched it a couple of weeks ago and I still love it. It's just... I think they do a lot of justice to the comics, as well as making the characters feel believable, like I said earlier.
It did. I mean, and if you kind of look at the actual comic, which I never checked out, but from what I can tell, it's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake almost.
Yeah.
They modified a couple things about the story, but for the most part, I mean, they really didn't... I guess they wanted to play it as safely as possible, so they just kind of took the comic and they just adapted it to the screen like as best as they could.
Yeah, which if you're a fan of the Watchmen comics, you're happy.
Right.
Because that's what you wanted. The only problem I would say that happens with that would be people who are coming into it, or people who are like, what's Watchmen? Let's go watch it. They might be a little lost. And the biggest example I have of this would be Batman v Superman. Where if you're a comic book fan, you thought it was a pretty decent movie, a good movie. I mean, yes, it might have been directed bad, but I would say Ben Affleck as Batman was awesome. His fight scene in the warehouse was insane.
That was like
the best part of the movie, I think. Yeah. Everything else was like,
right
what's
about
going
to agree
on?
with you there. But the movie, I think, I didn't like that movie. I mean, I liked it at first because I was younger and I didn't know any better. But I mean, when I kind of had to kind of go back and look at it again, it's just one of those movies that... Because think about it, right? Think about this. This was supposed to be their breaking movie, right? This was supposed to be
Ben Affleck's first Batman movie.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Right. This was supposed to be what made DC cool for everybody to watch. They wanted to be like Marvel. They wanted everybody to watch them, and they wanted to do well. But the problem was, again, the directing, and I think it was just... It was so mishandled, honestly. It could have been way better. And
it was rushed.
Yeah, it was.
They were trying to compete with Marvel's. And Marvel, honestly, wasn't even pumping out that big of a movie. It was Civil War. Was around the time frame when Batman v Superman was going on. And so I guess, given they're both super comic book oriented, they wanted to, I guess, compete. But they would drop the ball again with Justice League when they tried to compete with Infinity War.
Oh my God, Justice League! Justice League is just, whew.
That was El Terrible. More,
Yeah.
It was like, I don't even understand why they pumped it out. Yes, you might have been intimidated by Infinity War coming out, but the Marvel fans and DC fans who like that stuff was already going to see it. It's not like you're going to take them away from Marvel. What you should have done is been like, you know what? We're not going to force this out. Let's rework our characters. Let's actually wait till we can shave off Superman's mustache instead of having to CGI his mouth.
Yeah, dude. Everybody just kind of had seen how bad that was, but I still can't get over how they did that. I mean, it's sad because, I actually thought that Superman was decent, and then they just made him look like a freak in this movie. He looks like a zombie or something.
And I was watching a video, and he was contractually obligated not to shave it off because he was filming for Mission Impossible.
They could have given him a fake mustache, they could have done that, but he probably just maybe didn't want to shave for this movie. He's probably just like, you know what? The last movie did so well, so why even bother trying to take these extra steps for it?
Yeah, and Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, actually is still up in the air whether or not he's going to continue holding the mantle of Superman. He had an okay origin story with Man of Steel. I wouldn't say it was good.
It was okay.
It was okay. It was a recap of how Superman, became Superman. But after that, what did he have? He had Batman v Superman. Didn't do so hot. And then after that, we went straight to Justice League, and that was just horrible. And given he did really well in Mission Impossible, was it 5 or 6? I think it was 5. But he was in whatever Mission Impossible he was in. He did a really good job. He was a good character. And I think after that, he decided, I'd rather go and try new characters. That's why he's going to be in The Witcher. The movie based off the game. He's now going to be in The Witcher. And I don't think he might want to be Superman still, but I don't think he's going to really feel bad if he doesn't keep the part, because
I don't either.
DC's kind of screwed him over, where he's had one maybe decent movie and the other two were just, in all retrospect, were box office plummets. They were horrible.
They really were, man. And it's sad because, they wanted these movies to make $1 billion at least. They did, which is a lot for these big movies, but you're just so used to it because with every of these superhero movies and any movie like this, they make $1 billion just because it's the standard for them now. Like, that's just what they do. And we're just so attached to these, but DC just doesn't know how to make their products sell. They don't know how to make, they're just such a mess at this point. I don't even pay attention to what DC's doing now just because
I think
they don't have a dog in that fight anymore.
Yeah. What DC I think is trying to do now is, and I'll give them credit for Aquaman. Aquaman did gross $1 billion. So they did have $1 billion. James Wan did a great job. I think James Wan, for someone who is coming off of a horrible, I would say, introduction of Aquaman in Justice League, did a great origin story to redeem, I would say, Jason Momoa's character of Aquaman. Because before that, I was like, you're just going to throw Aquaman into this and say no origin story? He's from Atlantis. Yes, we know that. But I would say James Wan did a great job of rebooting and introducing, I would say, Aquaman to the audience of people who know him and people who also didn't know who Aquaman was.
We're going to make Aquaman cool.
Yeah.
We're going to make Waterboy a badass
Waterboy's grown up. He's Aqualad.
Waterboy. Yeah, it's just funny to me how a movie about Aquaman, of all the people, not even Wonder Woman, not even anyone like that, a movie about Aquaman does better than
Batman.
Than a movie that's supposed to basically be DC's version of Avengers. I just think that's so funny.
Yeah.
I can't get over it. It's just, Aquaman was kind of a dumb movie. It was just, and when I say dumb, I just mean it was so ridiculous sometimes that I can see why people would be kind of drawn to the charm of it,
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then, what was the other DC? Shazam came out. Shazam.
I haven't seen that.
It did not, it's a good movie. I liked it. It was all right. But it obviously did not hit the box office as they had hoped.
No.
DC. So I think DC is just taking a step back. I would say, very excited for Joker. That's coming out.
Shoot, with Joaquin Phoenix. That's right. I forgot about that.
I think, although the only problem I have with it is they're going to set it back in time. And I don't know how they're going to, with the new Batman, with Robert Pattinson, how they're going to tie in the older Joker that's being shown here to the new Batman. Unless they're going to put this Batman, I guess, back in time.
We'll get this. Apparently, they're not supposed to. Apparently, this is taking place in another universe or
so
something.
they're separate. They never meet each other.
No, like apparently these universes are supposed to be separate. Like I have no idea what they're doing at this point. It's not like Marvel at all. What DC does is just not consistent at all.
No, it's not canon. Everything that was canon with DC maybe ended with the end of, I would say, the Dark Knight and everything.
Well, not even that. I mean, because it's just weird because, I mean, they have all these shows that are set in one universe. They have the movies in another universe. And now they're going to make more movies that are set in another separate universe. It's just so inconsistent. And Marvel makes everything consistent. All their movies and stuff take place in one reality.
There's a linear time frame for Marvel. You can go back and say in 2008, Iron Man, blah, 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 blah. And then come here to 2019 and say Iron Man sacrificed himself. And you can see the character arc. Whereas now, if you go back and you watch, I would say, if you watch Teen Titans, or not Teen Titans, Titans on the DC streaming network, they have a Batman in that, but it's not a Batman that relates anywhere near to the Dark Knight or Batman v Superman or Justice League. It's just a Batman for that show. And the same thing goes for Superman on DC's Supergirl or CW's Supergirl. They have a Superman. It is not Henry Cavill. It is some other man or actor, rather.
Yeah, see?
And it has nothing to do. There's no connection. There's too many people when Gotham was following a younger Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Is all these different shows, whereas Marvel's like, no, we can have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we're not going to have any of our big players. Ghost Rider can be in there, but we're not going to put, Agent Carter can be in there, but we're not going to put the big names that we've been building a brand about for the last 10 years, Starting with Iron Man. They've stayed very truthful to the lineage of which the pattern of their movies should go. As opposed to DC, where they're just trying to make money, and they say, okay, who's popular? Let's pump out a Batman movie. Who's popular? Let's pump out a Justice League movie to compete with Infinity War.
Right, dude. I mean, I don't know. I kind of lost faith in DC. They don't really have anything good going on anymore. I mean, other than that Joker movie, which I'll watch anyway, because I actually like Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's a great actor. From
the trailers and everything, or the one trailer we only have right now, I think he's going to do a great job. It's really hard to, after Heath Ledger died, to find out who's going to be it. Jared Leto, I mean, that was kind of...
stupid.
Again, that's another example of a DC movie totally forgetting about it. When they had Jared Leto play the new Joker in Suicide Squad.
Right. I mean,
oh, man.
That's just the thing. Examples. It's not... When you think of characters, you don't... I mean, they're gonna redo Iron Man with a different actor eventually, like in 100 years or so.
For sure.
Give or take 100 years. But right now, when you think of Iron Man, you think of one guy because that's just sort of his character,
When you think of Steve Rogers, you think of
it's just one guy.
America. Yeah, you think of
that goes for any character right now. But DC's already had like 5 Batmans, 5 Jokers, and it's just
And one of them being George Clooney. I don't know if you remember this, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze.
I know. I liked when I was a kid. Believe it or not, I liked that movie. I liked that movie when I was a kid, just because of Poison Ivy. Honestly.
It was hilarious. Yeah, Poison Ivy in that movie.
She was the only reason why I was watching that movie, dude. I swear to God.
And that's when young Jet knew he didn't want to play with Legos anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, and they had Robin and Batgirl, and I love that the suits that they had hard nipples because it was cold, and they had bat nipples, and that's hilarious. I think that was more of a comedy. They weren't really trying to be serious. I think they're like, who wants to be Batman? I think George Clooney would be a good Batman. Who wants to be Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze? And who was popular back then? Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's still popular. There's still plenty of Terminator movies that are coming out. There's another Terminator movie that just got confirmed. But at the time, like, we can get him, And I think that's when they were humoring themselves, They weren't, like, trying to compete. Marvel was nothing back then.
Oh, hell no.
DC is like, we own the field.
That's right.
And they let the ball drop. And then 2008, Iron Man, with its pretty good VFX, came out. And people were like, oh, my God. Marvel's going to... Stan Lee going, oh, my God. And that's, I think, where DC was like, they'll never beat us. We have the only good thing I think DC has right now, or had, what's their cartoons? Justice League.
Didn't watch
those. I watched them when I was little, and I watched them now, and they're a lot. I think they aged well, like I said earlier.
Yeah,
but they're better. But probably. They're not live action. No one's gonna go to them. Like, even with, I think cartoon movies have a stigma against them because. When Spider-Man for Spideyverse came out,
that's right. That was
it looked great. I mean, I didn't see it till like 5 months after it came out until it came on DVD or whatnot. But I think one thing is people are like, it's a cartoon movie.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
not
cartoon.
Gonna go watch
It's for kids, you know?
Yeah. Even though it had a good storyline and stuff, it didn't gross nearly as much as I thought. It did win a lot of stuff, but in retrospect, it's a comic book movie, and if I'm being honest, I think live action, whether good or bad, are going to have people show up to the box office regardless.
Live action is more approachable for that because, I mean...
It's more relatable. It's
a
human.
Yeah.
It's not a cartoon. Because in cartoons, they understand, they can fly.
Yeah.
But when you go and see Superman fly in Man of Steel, or you see Dr. Sirvan fly in Shazam, you're like, okay, they had to do some cool effects for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say watch Shazam. It's a good watch. It's corny. It was made for kids. They do Fortnite dances in it.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, but shit, they do.
That's right. I liked it. I think they did a good job with what they had. And there's some people that really liked it, some people who didn't. And I think the coolest thing about it was that Zachary Levi, who used to play Chuck in the TV show Chuck, which is that was a good TV show. It was like a rebound for him because I hadn't seen him in really anything. He did play in Marvel. He played one of Thor's friends in, I don't remember which Thor it was, but he did. He was in Marvel. He's been in Disney. He's been in now DC. And he's been on TV. He has like a whole...
So he's making a little comeback, huh?
Yeah, a little comeback. And if you're wondering what Disney movie he was in, he actually played...
Chances are I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you probably haven't. He played in... what's it called? Tangled. He played Flynn Rider.
Oh, believe it or not, I have seen that actually.
Yeah.
I saw that a long time ago when they played it in our class, middle school.
They brought in the TV and like, alrighty, movie time.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, the TV's here. We're watching something today.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of them like that through there, but I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot. But I do remember that movie though.
Yeah, it was actually pretty. I liked it. It was funny. I liked the horse. I can't remember his name, but Flynn's horse was pretty funny. Or the guard's horse, rather, that became friends with Flynn and Penelope, not Penelope, Rapunzel.
Republican. That's cool.
Republican.
Republicansel. That's cool.
And I would say to wrap up this segment of the podcast about movies is I'm really looking forward to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh yeah,
especially because it's right now it's showing Harold, the scarecrow, and I love it because I read Harold.
Me too.
His story when I was little in the Scholastic Book Fair.
That's something popular, or at least kind of popular.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they're making a movie about it now, years after the book came out, that's just that's so huge for. Because this movie, you can tell it's not made for kids. It's made for all the fans of the book. That's why it's made. I'm sure there are some kids that still read those books, but I mean, there are just some things at this point that are just made for the fans, you know?
Yeah, and I think scary movies, especially like this, is where it comes into play, where you can actually play to the fans and the fans will show up and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Because right when Jet saw it, he sent me a link for the trailer, and I went, dude, we're definitely seeing this. And so I think that's a good thing when you have fans who are so happy to see something, like I said, came out when we were kids, and we used to read and get scared of, is now coming out when we're now adults and we can see it in college. So I think that'll be really good for it. I would say, though, they are kind of rebooting the older generation stories as well because Goosebumps had its own movies come out.
Yeah, but it was...
Those were Jack Black and everything.
Yeah, those were a little too ridiculous for me.
They were iffy. But yeah, I'm excited, like I said, for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I think the idea that they're going to show all these different characters that we read about over our childhood years coming together to, because the book has blood on it and stuff, like you said. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm excited for it. It doesn't look like it's going to be a little kid's scary movie. It looks like it's actually going to be jump scares and, creepiness from the books.
They're actually going to put effort into trying to make it look spooky, which I think is actually good.
They actually have a budget for this movie. I feel like all the other ones that are based off stories, sometimes they don't have the budget. They're just taking an idea from the story that everyone loved and being like, how can we get money from it? Let's just make this. Whereas maybe half baked. Whereas this feels like they're gonna cook it all the way, and I'm excited. And I think Jet's really excited as well.
No, I actually really am because I love those books so much when I was a kid, and I couldn't sleep in my room for a little while actually because of those books. I think there was one story where something involving about like a ghost coming up some stairs one night or something like that, and it was calling out to like a little girl in her room, and she would hear it. She goes, it would be like, Emily, I'm on the first step. I'm on the second step, and I'm getting closer, just like something like that. And that freaked me the fuck out. So I just couldn't. It was just one of those things that always kind of stuck with me because I loved those books so much.
Yeah, and I think one thing that books with scary themes have that movies can't convey is when you're reading something, or when you're reading something, your imagination is limitless. Whereas when you watch it on a film like Sinister or whatnot, there's a limit to what scares you because the characters or the scary entities are given a face or a body of not an actor, maybe, of a thing that the producers and director want you to see.
Right.
But when you read, like you said, at night, when you're 10 years old reading Goosebumps, or you're 10 years old reading Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and you read about a woman missing her toe, stomping around, looking and asking, "Where's my toe?" It is creepy. And then your brain plays tricks on you.
Not sure if that's the example I use, but...
Yeah, I mean, I would say scary movies sometimes do justice. Most of the time can't, because if it's based off a book, kids made the monsters to themselves think, "Oh my God, that's so scary." But when a director or someone creates it, it can still be scary, but it's not what maybe kids or adults thought about when they think about it. Same with, I would say, folklore. When you think of La Llorona, or you think about the Chupacabra, you don't think about what people have made. You think about what you think it would look like. Even though sometimes, you can be influenced by pictures and stuff, I still think the Chupacabra is one of the scariest things that I heard about when I was little. I was like, what is this? Even though I wouldn't say my culture had folklore like that, it was still really scary to think, oh my God, this thing will come and get us. Behave or else the Chupacabra is going to get you.
Right. I mean, I was never threatened with anything like that. I mean, my parents were really like that, but at the same time, I mean, when I was a kid, I was just really easy to scare just because I was so dumb, But, I mean, all my dad had to do one night was just, to mess with me, was just kind of pretend to be Darth Vader or something. So he comes in the room,
no.
and he's just like, he comes wherever I'm sleeping, and he's just like...
just heavy breathing.
Right, just like that, and that's enough to make me shit my pants. So, I mean, I was pretty easy to scare when I was a kid. But, I mean, I kind of grew to like horror movies as I got older.
Yeah, I think, I like them now, too.
I couldn't watch past the first 5 minutes of the first Freddy movie.
Oh.
I think just because I didn't like the blood or something. So, I was really easy to scare. But I could watch it now. I mean, I have seen that scene now, so, I mean...
Yeah. What was your first scary movie you think you saw that really, stuck to you?
Probably Chucky.
Chucky?
Because I think it was on at my grandparents' place one day because my grandpa was watching it or something.
I'm just going to flip through the channels. Whoa!
He had it on, and I think I just remember being a stupid kid and just crying because I thought Chucky was so scary,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and that hits the child aspect because it's a child's doll. The child's play is a good name for it because, little kids think, oh, dolls aren't supposed to be killers, Right. Dolls aren't supposed to be evil people that are trying to take over my body. I think my first scary movie that I watched that really got me, and I think this was, I don't know, I was maybe 10 or 11. I still lived in Maryland. We were driving up to our beach house, and I think it was called The Eye. And it was about this woman who... her eyes went bad or something, and they had to replace them. And so she got new eyes, even though that's not possible today. And it's still not possible. They put new eyes in, and so she's getting used to seeing through her new eyes, and she sees stuff. Like, I guess you could say evil spirits or things that... They said the eyes shouldn't be able to remember anything. But for some reason, she's seeing what, I guess, the previous owner or whoever's eyes these were that she's looking through now, she's seeing. And so I remember watching that in the car on my little DVD player while we're driving up, and it scared me, but I was around with my family, so it wasn't too scary. And I saw a great post on Instagram the other day that said, when you watch scary movies with friends, they become comedies. It changed my mind. And I think that's true. I mean, unless you're watching with maybe one or two other people, if you're in a group of 5 or 6 like I used to and watch scary movies, you just sit there and laugh at how stupid the people are or how bad the effects are.
I know.
Or you're just laughing because you're doing stupid crap and not even watching the movie. So I think, like Jet said, scary movies are hit or miss, but when you watch them with people who really like them or by yourself, I think that's when they become more personal. Or you go in theater and watch them. Because in theater, you can't go around slapping each other around and laughing because people are going to be like, shh. you know. But yeah, I'm really excited for, I guess, the new movies that are coming out, new TV shows, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, so while we're on the topic of things that we were afraid of as kids, I mean, I got a pretty interesting fear I had when I was a kid. So I don't know why I was so afraid of this when I was younger, but you know how some kids are like scared of the vacuum or they're scared of dogs or whatever. I wasn't scared of dogs. I wasn't scared of the vacuum. One thing I was scared of though, I was scared of theme park mascots with their costumes. Like,
that's understandable. I can see that.
Like, you know, the Six Flags, how they have Bugs Bunny walking around. We got Daffy Duck. I would have been terrified of that. I was terrified, I know, because we went to H-E-B one time, right? And do you remember the H-E buddy, the walking grocery bag guy?
Well, the guy.
I guess they had the costume one day, and so he was walking down the aisle, like along the, like it was near the meat section, I think, with some girl who was working there. So I see the H-E buddy, right? And I screamed, I remember, because I was so scared. I was probably like maybe 5 when I did this. I screamed, right? And I ran away, like off to the side. And then the freaking lady that was there with him, like she starts laughing when she sees me scream like that.
How dare she?
No, like it's just funny because I mean I was just so terrified of
No, that's
I was so terrified of those guys, and it's so strange to me when I think about it. But I mean, like when I just distinctly remember that lady laughing when she saw like how scared I was of the H-E buddy. It was honestly just so funny just to think about that.
I think if I was working there now and I had an H-E-B buddy next to me and I was walking down and this little kid started screaming, I'd probably laugh too.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
Now it's funny when we're older, but in the moment it's just like everything scares. Well, not everything, but like for sure I was scared of Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh yeah, me too.
Chuck E. Cheese was creepy. The animatronics, and then when I was like 14 or 15, they made a game called Five Nights at Freddy based off of like a place like Chuck E. Cheese where the animatronics kill people. So I mean, maybe I was right to be scared of it. You don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so funny to me when I think about that because I mean, I was scared of Chucky because just of how he would walk around and I remember going to SeaWorld and they had the animal costumes walking around. They had a penguin. They had, I think, what was it? They had the Shamu. They had a lot of things there, right? Yeah. They had different costumes. And I just remember going there with my parents and I just remember trying to just avoid walking near them because I was just so terrified of them. And it's just one of those things that's very funny to me looking back. Out of all the things to be afraid of, it's just like, that was my fear. My fear was mascots, you know?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, there's some mascots that are like questionable. Like, why would you have this as for kids?
But H-E Buddy was for kids.
I know, but still, that thing's creepy with the big eyes, you know?
Nah, I don't think he was creepy. I just think I was so like, it was just funny how scared I was of him.
Yeah. Well, I think a good title for this podcast, or at least a good sub part of it, was movies. We did talk a lot about movies.
We talked about movies, and now we're talking about
childhood traumas.
Yeah,
you know?
childhood traumas.
What a pivot.
Yeah, and to think when this first started, we were talking about how we were such like shut-ins who had never even like done certain things before.
We were like, oh, I haven't done this. Let's talk about movies and childhood trauma.
Right. I mean, I don't know. It's such an interesting process we have of how we just talk about stuff, you know,
or their lack of. I think a great thing that Jet said was this podcast really doesn't follow a schedule, or I would say follows a regimen. It's more of we sit down and we talk, and so we got really into the movie thing. And I looked down and it's like 30 minutes of us talking about movies, which is fine. And I hope you guys enjoy when we talk about this stuff. So don't expect maybe just one theme. I think we started off wanting to do themes, but I think now we have more of a general premise of let's just sit down and talk and have you guys sit along with us, you know? So we're excited to get this one out. Should get out pretty fast. Jet's going to edit. We want to get another one out by the end of this week because we have time. So we'll probably record again. So look out for another video probably by Friday. If not Friday, maybe we'll do it Saturday, sit down and make it right there.
Thanks very much to the few people that listen. If anybody's listening at all, then we really appreciate the viewership, and we're more than happy to produce this. Thank you.
And one more thing I would add is we are interested in starting a little short film, so we will be start to write and film and think about that. So we'll be sure to talk about that in the upcoming podcast. Should be a lot of fun, and we're gonna have a YouTube channel that we'll plug in here a little later. And yeah, thanks for listening in.
This podcast is possible by contributions to our station from listeners like you. Thank you.
All right, PBS man. We'll see you guys next time.